For decades, the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, has stood as a symbol of hope for millions around the world. Its mission has always been to promote sustainable development and provide humanitarian assistance where it's needed most. From the bustling cities to the most remote villages, USAID's presence has been a beacon of light, offering a helping hand and a path to a better future. Founded on the belief that helping others is not just good morals, but good policy, USAID has been a cornerstone of American foreign policy. Its initiatives have spanned across various sectors, including health, education, agriculture, and economic development, aiming to create a more stable and prosperous world. USAID has been at the forefront of global development efforts, working tirelessly to improve the quality of life for people in developing countries. Its projects have ranged from building infrastructure to providing clean water and sanitation, from supporting small businesses to fostering democratic governance. From disaster relief to poverty reduction, USAID's impact has been profound and far-reaching. In times of crisis, USAID has been among the first to respond, delivering emergency supplies and coordinating relief efforts to save lives and rebuild communities. From fighting disease to promoting education, USAID has played a crucial role in addressing some of the world's most pressing challenges. Its health programs have helped to combat epidemics, improve maternal and child health, and increase access to essential medical services. USAID has been instrumental in transforming countless lives. By introducing modern agricultural techniques, it has helped farmers increase their yields and improve food security. By supporting education initiatives, it has opened doors of opportunity for children and adults alike. But today, this beacon of hope is flickering. The agency faces unprecedented challenges that threaten its very existence. A perfect storm of political maneuvering, ideological clashes, and questionable motives has brought USAID to the brink of collapse. The political landscape has shifted, and with it, the support that USAID once enjoyed is waning. The potential consequences of this shutdown are staggering. Communities that have come to rely on USAID's support are now left in limbo, facing an uncertain future. Threatening to unravel decades of progress and leave millions in desperate need, the absence of USAID's programs could lead to a humanitarian crisis of unprecedented scale. This is not just about budget cuts. It's about the values we stand for as a nation. It's about our commitment to global leadership and our responsibility to help those in need. It's about turning our backs on the world's most vulnerable. The people who depend on USAID's assistance are not just numbers. They are individuals with hopes, dreams, and aspirations. It's about sacrificing America's role as a global leader on the altar of short-sightedness and political expediency. The world is watching, and the decisions we make today will shape our legacy for generations to come. The story begins on January 20th, 2025, when former President Donald Trump, in one of his final acts in office, signed an executive order effectively freezing all foreign assistance. This move was not entirely unexpected, given Trump's previous attempts to cut foreign aid during his presidency. However, the timing and the sweeping nature of the order caught many off guard. This order, widely seen as a parting shot at the Biden administration, sent shockwaves through the development community and left USAID in a state of paralysis. Development workers, who had dedicated their lives to improving conditions in some of the world's most vulnerable regions, were left in limbo, unsure of what the future held for their projects and the people they served. With the stroke of a pen, billions of dollars in vital aid were frozen, throwing countless projects into disarray. Essential supplies, from medical equipment to educational materials, were left stranded, unable to reach those in desperate need. The ripple effects of this decision were felt far and wide. From farmers in Guatemala to healthcare workers in Gaza, the impact was immediate and devastating. Agricultural initiatives that had been years in the making were suddenly halted, leaving farmers without the resources they needed to sustain their crops. In Gaza, healthcare workers faced shortages of critical supplies, putting lives at risk. The stated reason for the freeze? Government efficiency, of course. The Trump administration argued that the freeze was necessary to review and streamline foreign aid programs, ensuring that taxpayer dollars were being used effectively. However, many saw this as a thinly veiled excuse. But as with many things Trumpian, the reality is far murkier, riddled with hidden agendas and a healthy dose of chaos for good measure. Critics argued that the freeze was less about efficiency and more about dismantling the achievements of previous administrations, particularly those of President Obama. This executive order wasn't just about saving money, it was about dismantling a legacy, punishing perceived enemies, and leaving a lasting mark on American foreign policy. The ramifications of this decision will be felt for years to come, as the world grapples with the fallout of a sudden and severe disruption in aid. Enter the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, the brainchild of Trump and his ever-present shadow, Elon Musk. Tasked with streamlining government operations and cutting the fat, DOGE quickly became synonymous with Musk's own brand of disruptive and often reckless innovation. Under Musk's leadership, DOGE set its sights on USAID, painting the agency as a bloated bureaucracy riddled with waste and mismanagement. Armed with cherry-picked statistics and inflammatory rhetoric, Musk launched a public relations blitz, portraying USAID as a den of liberal excess more interested in pushing woke agendas than helping those in need. Trump, never one to shy away from a good culture war, seized on Musk's narrative, using it to justify his executive order and further his own populist agenda. The message was clear: USAID was the enemy, a symbol of everything wrong with the deep state and its globalist agenda. The human cost of this political gamesmanship is being felt most acutely in the very places USAID has long strived to help. In Guatemala, farmers who once benefited from USAID-funded agricultural programs are now struggling to survive as vital resources dry up. In the Gaza Strip, where USAID has been a lifeline for millions, hospitals are facing critical shortages of medicine and supplies. Education programs have been halted, leaving children with uncertain futures. From Indonesia to Peru, from Syria to Afghanistan, USAID projects lie in disarray, victims of a political battle waged thousands of miles away. The irony is as stark as it is tragic. In the name of efficiency, the Trump administration has created chaos and suffering on a global scale. Section 5, the LGBTQ controversy, a smokescreen for something more? Central to DOGE and Trump's attacks on USAID is the allegation that the agency is misusing funds to promote radical LGBTQ agendas. They claim that USAID's involvement in promoting LGBTQ rights is a diversion from its primary mission of providing humanitarian aid. This narrative has been pushed aggressively in political rallies and media appearances, creating a smokescreen that distracts from the real issues at hand. They point to examples like USAID's support for LGBTQ rights groups in the Caribbean, suggesting that these initiatives are part of a broader agenda to impose Western values on other cultures. Critics argue that this focus on LGBTQ rights is not only misplaced but also detrimental to the agency's overall mission. Additionally, funding for HIV/AIDS prevention programs is cited as evidence of this supposed ideological capture. These programs, which are crucial for public health, are being mischaracterized as tools for promoting a radical social agenda. This misrepresentation serves to undermine the important work being done in these areas. This line of attack, while baseless and demonstrably false, has proven effective in rallying Trump's base. It taps into existing prejudices and fears, mobilizing support by painting USAID as an organization that is out of touch with American values and priorities. By demonizing USAID in the eyes of conservative America, this narrative strengthens the perception that the agency is a tool of cultural imperialism. This perception is further fueled by media outlets that amplify these claims without scrutiny. It plays on existing prejudices and fears, painting USAID as a tool of cultural imperialism rather than a force for good in the world. This portrayal is not only misleading but also harmful, as it detracts from the agency's genuine efforts to provide aid and support to those in need. But beneath the surface of this manufactured controversy lies a deeper truth. The real target is not USAID's LGBTQ programs, but the very idea of foreign aid itself. This broader agenda seeks to undermine the legitimacy of foreign aid, casting it as a wasteful and unnecessary expenditure. The controversy serves as a convenient distraction, allowing critics to push for a reduction in foreign aid without addressing the real consequences of such actions. By focusing on the LGBTQ issue, they divert attention from the broader implications of cutting foreign aid. The real target is not USAID's LGBTQ programs, but the very idea of foreign aid itself. This broader agenda seeks to undermine the legitimacy of foreign aid, casting it as a wasteful and unnecessary expenditure. For Trump and his ilk, foreign aid is anathema, a waste of taxpayer money that could be better spent at home. They argue that the funds used for foreign aid should be redirected to address domestic issues, such as infrastructure, healthcare, and education. For Trump and his ilk, foreign aid is anathema, a waste of taxpayer money that could be better spent at home. They argue that the funds used for foreign aid should be redirected to address domestic issues, such as infrastructure, healthcare, and education. This perspective, while appealing to some, overlooks the broader benefits of foreign aid. It fails to recognize that foreign aid not only helps those in need, but also promotes global stability and security, which ultimately benefits everyone, including Americans. Section 6. Fighting back legal and political challenges. The fight to save USAID is far from over. Legal challenges to Trump's executive order are making their way through the courts, with many arguing that the order exceeds presidential authority. On Capitol Hill, Democratic lawmakers, outraged by Trump's actions, are launching investigations into DOJ and its role in the USAID shutdown. They are demanding transparency, accountability, and a reversal of what they see as a reckless and irresponsible assault on American values. Public pressure is also mounting, with aid organizations, faith groups, and ordinary citizens speaking out against the shutdown and its devastating consequences. The message is clear: the world is watching, and America cannot afford to turn its back on those in need. Section 7. A world without USAID, a bleaker future. The potential consequences of a world without USAID are staggering to contemplate. It would mean a retreat from America's global leadership role, ceding ground to rivals like China and Russia who are all too eager to fill the void. It would mean a weakening of democratic institutions and values around the world, as countries lose a vital partner in their pursuit of peace, prosperity, and human rights. And it would mean untold suffering for millions who rely on USAID's assistance for their very survival. Section 8. The ripple effect, America's waning global influence. The potential shutdown of USAID is not an isolated incident. It is a symptom of a deeper malaise afflicting American foreign policy. It is a reflection of a growing inwardness, a retreat from global engagement, and a waning commitment to the values that have long defined America's role in the world. This inward turn has consequences that extend far beyond the realm of foreign aid. It undermines America's credibility on the world stage, weakens alliances, and emboldens adversaries. It makes the world a more dangerous and less stable place, and it diminishes America's standing as a force for good. Section 9. A call to action saving USAID and global development. The fight to save USAID is about more than just preserving a government agency. It is about saving lives, upholding American values, and reaffirming America's commitment to a better world. It is a fight that requires all of us to raise our voices, contact our elected officials, and demand a different course. We must resist the politics of fear and division, and embrace the values of compassion, empathy, and global solidarity. The future of USAID, and indeed the future of American leadership in the world, hangs in the balance. The time to act is now.